They call him Blast. Rio Blast.
Howdy, partners. Time for another Patreon special missions request. This one comes courtesy of Ninja level Patreon tribe member Derek Neveau. And it's for
The fastest draw in the universe, Rio Blast.
By 1986, the Masters of the Universe line had an incredibly diverse lineup, consisting of everything from moss men, to bee guys, to skunk people.
And one day, a lawman appeared.
Yep, although He-Man had done a fine job of keeping Skeletor's crew in line on Eternia, and he did possess the power of Grayskull, there was one power he didn't have: the power of the law.
Mayday! Mayday! I need an army of marshals here!
And much like Mattel's other well-known marshal, Brave Star, when the Outlaws were running rampant and 1,000 lawmen were needed, one was enough when it came to Marshal Blast.
That can't be one of our marshals. No way.
Yeah, I know he's never officially been called a marshal, but I've always referred to him as that.
Must be. He's wearing a star.
Exactly. The resemblance to Marshal Brave Star's outfit is uncanny, and I doubt a coincidence.
He was my hero. The greatest marshal I knew.
The original Rio Blast figure was released in 1986, the same year as Mattel's Brave Star toy line, which took place on the planet New Texas.
Sky of 3 suns, land of precious ore. The carrion rush brought outlaws by the score.
While New Texas is never mentioned on He-Man or She-Ra, or Eternia and Etheria are never mentioned in the Brave Star animated series, I always thought of Rio Blast as a prototype to the Brave Star toy line, rather than a one-off space cowboy character. He never appeared in either of the He-Man or Brave Star animated series.
That's Colonel Blast. He commands a Horde outpost in Moorstone.
But there was a character on She-Ra called Colonel Blast in the episode The Wizard in 1985, which was inspired by Rio Blast concept art.
Hordak will be pleased.
He'd be just about the only one. Most of the fans of the figure the following year would look back on this episode and say,
Is this the best you could do?
none of the character's iconic Western look were used in the She-Ra episode, not even the mustache. Instead, he had a dastardly goatee.
Trooper, take them to a cell and post a double guard.
And for anyone thinking it was just a coincidence that both of them had the surname Blast, the Colonel deploys lasers from his knees, hands, and shoulders in an attempt to pacify the Princess of Power.
I'll show you how to take care of She-Ra.
He even had a visor similar to Rio's. But unlike Rio Blast, Colonel Blast couldn't hit the broadside of Fort Carium. And then suffers the indignity of having his outfit blown up by Bo's exploding arrows.
No!
And is thankfully never seen on the She-Ra show again.
That was some shooting, Bo.
Blast seemed to get a bang out of it.
For fans wanting some official backstory to Rio Blast, he did make some appearances in comic form, starting with the mini-comic issue, The Fastest Draw in the Universe, where we learn his speaking style is filled with colorful Western lingo, like buckaroo and yeehaw! We don't actually learn much about Rio in this mini-comic, other than he likes his chili hot, and we're talking molten. Metlar would taste this stuff and go, "That's a bit on the spicy side." And he's a cyborg, able to deploy lasers from his thighs, chest, hands, and backpack.
He carried a disintegrator, a dangerous weapon.
He also makes a few appearances in the Masters of the Universe comic series by Star Comics, where we learn he's afraid of snakes, and the UK comic series, where we learn he was a member of the Star Band Marshals of the planet Laredos. He suffered injuries during a battle with Horde Prime and was given his cybernetic upgrades to survive, similar to a couple of other lawmen who would receive cybernetic upgrades to keep fighting crime in a future time.
I hope a bad experience like this never happens to you.
But in my own continuity, Rio Blast was part of the Brave Star universe, even if the scales didn't line up. One Marshal may have been enough, for a while, but even the good Marshal Brave Star eventually needs some backup.
Much obliged for your help.
And I always imagined Marshal Rio Blast was right there alongside Jingles Morgan training a young Brave Star at the Academy.
He was my commander at the Marshal's Academy, the best in the galaxy.
Although the Brave Star episode Fallen Idol contained a powerful lesson of having to deal with a hero who falls from grace, I didn't like the idea of Brave Star's lone hero ending up being a piece of garbage. So I always imagined that there was another Marshal out there that Brave Star still looked up to.
He was my idol, my hero.
Shaman may have taught Brave Star about the mystic powers of the hawk, wolf, puma, and bear, but it was Rio Blast that taught him the power of the law.
He taught me everything I know about being a Marshal.
Marshal, idol, hero, and he was known as one other thing.
He was also known as the fastest draw in the galaxy.
Just how fast?
The fastest.
Him fast, gun!
Not even the black magic of Stampede could outdraw Marshal Rio Blast.
Well, now, stranger, what can I do for you? Good work, Marshal. I'm starting to get real annoyed with you, Marshal.
The only right that outlaws had after Rio Blast slapped the cuffs on them was the one to remain silent. And unlike the mini-comic depiction of Rio, I imagine him as being a cowpoke of few words.
Yep.
Any catchphrases or witty one-liners?
No.
I get it. You let your blasters do the talking, right?
Yep.
Well, you're a man of few words. Maybe you're just parched. Can I get you a drink?
Double sweet water. No ice.
Sure. Anything to eat with that?
Shut up.
Yes, sir.
Well, where are all the others?
Unlike some of the more well-known Masters of the Universe characters like Man-at-Arms, Beast-Man, and Ram-Man, Rio hasn't had many incarnations over the years. No little minifigures or even a 2000X release. But in 2007, a non-posable Staction figure was released by NECA based on the Four Horsemen design that was supposed to be released in the toy line before it was cancelled.
Who's this man with the spoozies? He looks familiar.
That's Rio Blast, Fuzz. Quite a different interpretation. The short hair really throws me off, as well as the new eyepiece and the giant revolver-like gun on his right hand. And then in 2014, he was released as part of the Masters of the Universe Classics lineup. Since these figures didn't have any play features, his weapons had to be attached after pulling out the flaps on his thighs and chest. Kind of a parts former, to use a Transformers term, which makes it easier to lose pieces.
I never lose.
We also learned a new piece of Rio's history from the bio on the back of the box. His full name is Riolus, and confirms his role as a lawman.
That's right, the best marshal in the galaxy.
In an age where so many of our old heroes are being deconstructed, I like the idea of reinforcing those old heroes by introducing new heroes who inspired them, like King Grayskull to He-Man, and Joe Colton to the G.I. Joes.
Like I said, he was my hero.
Is he an obscure, western cliché-spouting space cowboy from the waning days of Masters of the Universe in the 80s? Or is he a hero's hero who's short on words and long on law? Guess which one I'm picking, partner?
No problem.
Thanks, Derek, for shining the spotlight on this legendary lawman. And thank you to the Patreon tribe for the Carium that keeps this fort powered. A 30-30 sized welcome to our newest members, Mitchell Bell, Sean Henson, Greg Bishansky, and Sage Rider. Hey, wasn't that an 80s cartoon? Sage Rider and the Star Marshal. Maybe not. Welcome back to the Patreon tribe, Joseph Kennedy. And thanks for the extra Carium crystals, Adam Hooper. And welcome to YouTube channel member Big Josh Gaming. Thanks for hitting that join button, and hope you enjoy the loyalty badges and custom emojis here on YouTube. Lay down the law in the comment spot, and to join the tribe, blast subscribe. Nerdmas Day, partner.